Colt Express is a fast and fun little game that's been given a great digital port, and we're going to teach you how to play here today on Legendary Tactics. So Colt Express is a kind of fun, reasonably silly card/board game, or card-driven game maybe would be the best way to describe it. The app has a lot of fun animations as opposed to the board game, which actually is done not on a board but on a cardboard train. So it's kind of an interesting setup. So the goal basically is to get more loot than the other bandits. You play 5 rounds, basically very simple, just 2 phases per round where you scheme and then you steal. This is a pre-programmed kind of system. If you've ever played Robo Rally or Space Alert, it's a little bit like that in that you kind of plan your turn ahead, and sometimes things change, which kind of makes either things work out brilliantly or sometimes, most times, they collapse in on themselves. So we're going to be playing Tuco. There's a guy in the red shirt. And we start in the last car. Each of these characters have a special ability, and Tuco's is the ability to shoot through the roofs of the train cars, but we'll get to that. So you get a hand of cards, 6 cards from the deck, and every card is an action. You can kind of see from the icons here, this is move back and forth, this is move up and down, loot, shoot, move the Marshal, which I'll get to. I believe that's a punch card behind, tucked in behind there. So, you basically each round you start out by scheming. So the first round only has 1 turn, and so we're gonna grab some loot. Since if you look in our train car, we've got some options as far as we've got a gem and a bag full of money. So we're gonna make our first play a play of loot. So we're going to play a robbery card and drag it from in the interface online. If you get it, you just drag the card into the center of the screen. You don't actually do the action right away. Everyone places their cards. So he's going to move and he's going to shoot. So now with the steal-in part of this, okay, we're going to the cards are basically played out as they had been put down. So I was the first player, so I get the first turn here. And then if you recall, Django's going to move, Doc's going to shoot. So we flip the pile over and then take our actions. Now we're going to take the gem. Now the gems are worth 500. The purses, the bags of money, are worth somewhere between $250 and $500. There's a strong box in the locomotive, and that's worth $1,000. So we're going to pick up the gem, and we do so. The animations in this are really fun. Actually, they did a really good job. So Django played his move card, so you can only move 1 car in either direction. If you're inside the cars, if you're on the roof, you can move up to 3 cars in either direction. So he's just going to move into the next card there with Doc, which is going to be unfortunate because Doc played a fire card. In this case, though, the card allows bandits to shoot each other in an adjacent card or anywhere on the roof. Characters do block line of sight up there. So Doc fires a gun, spends 1 of his 6 bullets, and I said earlier that it was unfortunate. It's actually fortunate that he ended up there because I'm in the line of fire for this one, and I get shot, which adds a bullet card to my deck. So when you shoot a bullet, you give the other person a bullet card, and that is a dead card. So it makes, especially if you pick up a mitt full of them, dead cards are they're going to limit the actions that you can take. So for round 2, we'll take 2 turns, so the next bandit in line becomes first player. So in this case, that's going to be Django. And I drew Doc's bullet card from last round, so it's, as I said before, it's a dead card. So Django places first. Doc goes next. I'm going to play a punch card. Hopefully I've got someone to punch. And then we can play a fire card and see who's in the next car that we can that we can hit. So as you can see, it's kind of a to me I played a lot more Space Alert than I have Robo Rally. So for me, it reminds me a lot of that. Very simple though, nothing too complicated. It's kind of chaotic and random and fun. So we have Django punching Doc, and when you punch, you get to force them to drop a treasure, and they get punched into an adjacent car. So I'm punching now. Doc got punched into my car, and now I'm going to punch him right back. I'm going to force him to drop some loot, and I'm going to kick him over to back to the car with Django. And the floor change card was what Doc played. So that there's only 2 floors, so you can either go from the car to the roof or from the roof to the car. Django played the Marshal card, and the Marshal moves 1 car in either direction and never goes on the roof. And there's the Marshal there, so he's just very straightforward move. There's nowhere else to go. And the Marshal can shoot you and give you some dead cards as well. So now I played a fire card, so I can shoot one of my rivals in the next card. So I'm going to blast Django and give him a dead card. And now we move into round 3. So you can see this is pretty quick. Round 3, well, there are 3 turns, and there's also an event after the last turn. Now you can see here it's called Take It All. A new strongbox appears in the car where the Marshal is. So there is a new strongbox that's going to be placed at the end of the round wherever the sheriff happens to be. So obviously you can maybe plan ahead and have him drop the strongbox near you or whatever, so you can perhaps grab it. So the Marshal's right next to an opponent there, so we're going to drop this Marshal card on him. He's going to shoot, and he's going to place the Marshal. Now, if you don't like your options, if you're like, and you're looking at your cards, you're like, this doesn't work, you can spend an action to draw 3 cards. Now, you do miss your turn when it comes to that part of the programming of your turn. And now with the fire card, at the end of the game, now this is kind of important as well. At the end of the game, if you're the bandit who shot the most bullets, you'll get a gunslinger bonus of 1,000. So sometimes violence doesn't pay. It does in this game. So we see how this plays out. We flip the deck. He runs across 2 cars there. Now, when the Marshal shares a car with a bandit, that bandit receives a neutral bullet card and is forced to flee onto the roof. So that's whenever the Marshal is present. So the consequences aren't as bad as you might expect, really, but still, there is a bullet card given, and the rogue is forced to escape onto the roof. Now, he's going to shoot, and since he is on the roof, fortunately, I don't have to worry about getting shot, but I do have to, or at least not by Django, I do have to worry about being shot by the Marshal. Now, I skipped my turn because I drew 3 cards on this turn in the scheming phase. So Django runs around on the roof, and Doc decides to get inside the locomotive, and you'll notice the strongbox at his feet. Now, in this case, Django is the only bad guy on the roof, so I'm going to blast him and give him another bullet card. So I've spent 2 bullets out of my 6, and the other 2 have spent 1 each. So now the event happens, and so the Marshal drops a new strongbox. Okay. Now round 4 has a special turn in it called Tunnel, and speeding up and switching. Okay, so keep that in mind. So we're going to start by running away, getting away from that sheriff, and seeing if we can get the strongbox in the locomotive. Now we're in a tunnel phase. So up to this point, we've been playing our cards face up. Now we play our actions face down. So they can't know what we're playing. So if you'll notice, I drag this in the middle, it goes face down. We have no idea what actions they're going to play. Now, a speeding up turn, all players take 2 actions in a row. So we're going to change our altitude and punch, and hopefully there'll be someone there. All right, and he's going to move and punch, and he's going to change in altitudes, if you will, and then run. So now this is a switching turn. Now switching turn, the play order is reversed. So up to this point, we've just been, kind of feeding the deck. So instead of playing my card last or whatever, in this case I go first. So it's I'm going to play a robbery card, and again, hopefully there'll be something to worth stealing. So now we do we carry out the actions, the stealing phase. So we're going to go on the roof over Django, and you can see where Tuco uses his special abilities. So Django grabs a gem, Doc grabs a strongbox. Now remember that those are worth, obviously, money, but they have to be in your possession. If you recall, if you get punched, you can be forced to drop some stuff. So the scores are a bit malleable here. It's not like you've picked up the gem and now it's yours and you get to keep that money. So here's Tuco's special ability of shooting through roofs, and it's indicated by the small icon next to the action buttons. And all characters have a special ability, but we're just going to use Tuco's here to shoot through the roof and blast that guy, blast Django. And the Marshal moves into the next car, and Doc moves into the next car. We'll see how this works out. And now we're done the tunneling part, so I'm going to climb down, and now the three musketeers have reunited, for better or for worse, but I'm mad at Doc, so I'm going to punch him, and I'm going to knock out the strong box out of his hand, and I'm going to knock him towards the Marshal. And boom. And that's not going to end well for him. So he's, again, forced to take a bullet card and has to go on the roof. So Django runs towards the locomotive and punches the air because there's no one there to punch. Doc changes altitudes, and unfortunately that didn't work out well for him, that programming. So he ended up with the Marshal again. And then he moves away. So as it says here, as you see, Django is punching the air, Doc's climbing on the Marshal. It's tough to plan sometimes. So it is a little bit chaotic, a little bit like Space Alert, and that sort of thing. But now, luckily, we got the robbery card, so we're going to steal that strong box. And as long as we can hold on to it, we're in good shape. Now, Doc played a fire card. There's no one to shoot, so nothing happens. He robs, but there's nothing to find. The strong box is long gone. So we move into the last round of the game, and I'll just finish off this game here. So you can see we got 2 turns, then we have a tunnel, and then another turn, and then the event is hostage taking of the conductor. So each bandit who is either in the locomotive or on its roof receives a $250 ransom, otherwise known as a bonus. So let's see, what are we going to do? I think we're going to let's move the Marshal. I kind of want to move him away from me if I can. Although at this stage of the game, it actually doesn't matter in many ways, because you can utilize the Marshal to kind of help you to change levels in the car if you'd like. But I'm looking to stay in the locomotive there with we'll punch Django though, or anyone else who might be there. We're gonna punch him. So, and I think I'm gonna save my last play here. We're gonna do some shooting, and we'll see how we did. I'm hoping I don't get forced out of the car or anything like that, but we'll see. So Doc's running just a little bit along the roof. Now I get to move the Marshal. I would just want to move him away from me, if that's all right. Put him in a safe spot, maybe guarding that strong box as well. So you can see there's a little bit of light kind of strategy there. I get punched and I lose my strong box, unfortunately. So we're going to move into the room with Django, and we're going to hopefully... Oh, and he's going to run away. So, unfortunately, we don't have a robbery card, but Doc does, so he's going to steal some money. I punched the air because there's no one there, as I thought there might be. But we can do some shooting. He's going to pick up some some money bags there. I'm gonna blast, let's say Doc. So we're gonna get the gunslinger bonus for sure. No one is in the locomotive though to get the ransom, and so that's the end of the game. And let's see how I did. It's interesting because the tutorial plays out differently every time. I actually finished second this game, but with my gunslinger bonus, I actually finished first. But in the first game, first game or two I played of this, it was tutorial, so it was pretty easy to win. But this one, just the way the cards worked out, is a little bit challenging. So anyway, that's basically Colt Express. It's a pretty simple game. Nothing too crazy about it, but it's a fun little adventure, kind of take that kind of game that you can play in 5, 10, 15 minutes at most, and those games are fun too sometimes. So I hope you got a lot out of this tutorial and learned how to play a new game. As I said, this game does exist in analog version as well if you want to take a look, and hopefully this helped pique your interest. Thank you so much for watching. And this is NATO with Legendary Tactics.